All right, what's up, everyone? This is the Awesemo.com Hit the Ice show. We have 4 games to talk about today. I'm Jake Hari. No Homercles today. For the next few days, he will be gone at a bachelor party, so he's going to be, I'm sure, wishing he was back in Toronto and not in nice weather in Florida. But anyways, we will go through each of these 4 games, maybe make some hand-built lineups, some fantasy crunch or something like that. Short slate, so there's not a ton to talk about. There are a few different line changes that we should note. So we'll probably go over Nolan Kelly's article that he wrote today, the Morning Skate article, and then maybe talk about my stacks article. Maybe do some research on stream. I don't know. We'll just kind of see where it goes after we talk through each of these games. So I'm going to not ramble too much and just kind of get through it. We'll wait for some people to pop in here. I'm seeing this. Someone's tagging me in chat. I should probably put this in chat right now. So I'm going to do that before we get going. Wait for a few more people to come in. Where are we at here? There we go. Oh, there's actually a good question from Slack here. Yeah. Oh, Brandon Parker also. Yes. I'll get to that in a second. Is there any negative output in projected minutes/points for players on a back-to-back? I mean, I don't account for the back-to-back. I usually just let Vegas account for that, and they certainly do. Now, there's some pushback as to whether road back-to-backs or home back-to-backs are worse or what kind of advantage it gives each team. So I've heard a lot of information on both sides. I don't know. I would have to think a back-to-back would matter, but I don't know exactly how to quantify that. So I'm just trusting Vegas. I pay attention to the line totals, the implied team totals, I should say. But yeah, I mostly just don't make too many different adjustments. I know some guys will play more on back-to-backs. I know like Brent Burns has had a lot of success in back-to-backs. I don't know why that would be, but it's short samples for most of the stuff that you hear with road back-to-backs or home back-to-backs. So the short answer is I don't change anything, but you can if you have your own projection system. So I mean, unless there is some sort of line matching we know is going to take place, then I will change stuff, but that has nothing to do with the back-to-back. Brandon Parker, is there a free week trial code? Yes. So we got this for a couple more days, I think. It's promo code Hit the Ice. I'll type it in chat here. Hit the Ice. It is a free 7-day trial to any Awesemo.com NHL non-fantasy cruncher package, and with that you get to try out my projections. You get to look at Awesemo's rankings, which are updated, and you can see some of them on the screen here. Those change periodically up until lock as well. And then you get the lineup builder for the week. Yeah, it's a lot of good stuff, and then you can get on for a discounted price if you have a premium package, as well as the news and notes article. What else here? Got it all written down, but there's a bunch of stuff. All the stuff that we talk about. You get to join Slack if you are a monthly or year-long subscriber. So that's also quite the bonus. That's what I think is one of the most valuable tools. So I would suggest signing up for monthly or year-round, not just because it helps me. But yeah, promo code Hit the Ice is how you get that week-long trial. So come try us out. Let's get into the games now that we've filibustered enough. All right, we're going to start with Toronto and Winnipeg. We have a 3.2 implied total for the Maple Leafs, 3.3 for the Jets. Frederik Andersen going up against Connor Hellebuck. One note in this game, as you guys can see on the screen, is that Patrick Laine has moved up to the top line instead of Kyle Connor. So I thought, I thought that we had some significant data on line A with Scheifele and Wheeler, but we really don't. Going back to 2016-17, they have a 51.3% Corsi for percentage, only 20.7 scoring chances for per 60, under 6 high danger chances per 60. Their defensive numbers are good. So it's just surprisingly low event. And that was the thing I took note of. I believe it was like 50 minutes or so not a big sample, but I mean, you'd have to think Laine, Scheifele, and Wheeler together would be a really nice trio. So I'm kind of throwing out the old data, and it's just 3 really talented players, 3 guys that I love playing in DFS. And now the question is, what are they going to do as far as matchups go? I'm of the mindset that the Scheifele line is going to see mostly Matthews, Kapanen, and Marleau. And if that's the case, then Winnipeg 1 is probably my favorite stack of the night. They're going to be heavily owned, but yeah, I'm going to play the chalk. And yeah, of course he says Scheifele on Matthews. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be the chalk, but I'm going to be there. I'm probably going to try to play some 3-3-2s tonight to get away from the classic 4-3-1 build. So I'm just going to play the best plays, and I think Winnipeg 1 is one of them. Some people might disagree, but just too talented and full power play correlation. So Morrissey is probably the guy that correlates the best. He's listed on the top power play, but Dustin Byfuglien did play about a minute and 45 seconds on that top unit with the top 3 and then Kyle Connor. So I don't know what they're going to do exactly for the power play. I think you still can play Byfuglien. He's only 4,800. So it's just like he's just too cheap in general. And maybe he gets the power play one time, maybe he doesn't, but it's not that big of a deal to me. Obviously, you want the power play 1 minutes. Ehlers, Little, and Connor only have 17 minutes of ice time together. So kind of throwing that out, I don't really have much interest in this line. If I'm going to Winnipeg, it is going to be with that top line, or at very least top power play. So I'm probably going to avoid Winnipeg 2 for the most part. On the other side, the Leafs. This is the team that the numbers that I look at, the projections I came up with, really don't like Toronto. I've tried to bump them up myself, and I'm getting a little bit more of the Tavares-Marner line, but still not as much as I would like. And this one worries me because if for some reason the Scheifele line does go up against Tavares and Marner, which is probably what I would do if I was a coach, but if they do go up against Tavares and Marner, that's going to open things up for Matthews. And it's just really scary to full fade Matthews, Kapanen, and Marleau. I'm not doing it intentionally, but right now I don't have any exposure to them. So I'll probably try to force in a few lineups, even if I don't get them in my crunch, just because I don't want to have exposure to, each team's top 6 and not have one of the best players on the entire slate in Matthews. So that's kind of where I'm at there. Tavares, Marner, I think, is the better play. Like I said, I think we're going to see Scheifele against Matthews, so that's going to open things up for them. You've got the Tavares-Marner power play connection as well, and they're pretty affordable. Winnipeg's not the place I want to target teams in, but it's a 4-game slate. Toronto is super high event, as we know, so kind of making an exception here. Morgan Riley, 6,200. Probably staying away from him for the most part. He is shooting more this year in his first 9 games I think they played, but still not a guy I want to pay 6,200 for. So I'd much rather go to the other side with some of these Winnipeg guys, or go down to Gardner, who's 4,200. I think that's fine if you're looking for more of a one-off guy. Goalies here, they're both fairly priced. Going to have exposure to both of these guys just because it is going to be a high event game. But most of my exposure in this game for goalies is going to be with Hellebuck. He is 7,400. As you see, Osmo's got him as a pretty decent value. I don't know. I think if Winnipeg gets up, he's going to see a ton of shots. I think he's going to see a ton of shots in general. So does have the slate breaking upside. He is at home, and he is somewhat of a favorite. So kind of the same story for both guys, both talented. Neither one I would be like, yeah, you cannot play him in a tournament. Is that all for that game? Yeah, that's probably good. Let's go to Florida and the New York Islanders. No one confirmed yet for the Panthers, but probably going to be James Reimer going up against Robin Lehner, who is confirmed for the Islanders. 3.1 implied total for the Panthers, 3.2 for the Islanders. Florida is on a back-to-back after losing last night to the Rangers. Got crushed by the Zibanejad line. I actually didn't look at the numbers to see how Barkov fared against that Zibanejad line, but the results were really bad. So for this one, just kind of notes. There's no hard match for the Islanders. At least we wouldn't expect one. They haven't hard matched all season. The Islanders are doing a better job limiting high danger chances, which I'm surprised to see. Not much of their personnel has changed. They're kind of rolling out the same guys, maybe mixing up the top six here and there, but they've had a pretty tough schedule too. So even more surprising. Like, they played the Predators twice, played the Sharks twice, and the Hurricanes in their first 7 games. The Hurricanes, one of the best Corsi teams in the entire NHL. So pretty impressed by what I've seen from the Isles defense. Like, they're still giving up a ton of shots, but the scoring chances just aren't as 2 power play goals and a shorty last night for Zibanejad. Well, maybe I take that back then. Were they all? So they were all special teams goals? Okay. Maybe Barkov didn't fare as poorly as I thought. They still could have been bad at even strength, but that's not where they got their goals apparently. So disregard what I said before. So I don't really know why the Islanders would be playing the worst way for bad chalk to get there. Are you talking about the Rangers last night, Corsi? Were they chalk? I didn't see that. Anyways. So both the Islanders' top 2 lines have pretty poor possession numbers. I don't know exactly what they're going to do right now. On Osmo.com, we have Ladd with Barzal and Jordan Eberle. That's probably the line I would like to play. Whatever line Josh Bailey's not on is probably where I'd want to go. I just got an alert on my phone about Beauvillier. Barry Trotz said that Beauvillier is going to play with a little bit of everyone. So I don't know what that means. I would like to see Beauvillier with Barzal and Eberle. If that's the case, and we're going to know at 6:30 Eastern what at least how the Isles are going to start their lines. So that's pretty helpful here. But if we see Beauvillier with Barzal and Eberle, I think that's a line that I'm going to have a ton of exposure to. You see Beauvillier down at 3,500. Osmo's got him as an 8 value. And that's with him on the third line. Put him up there with a playmaker like Barzal. Beauvillier is a guy who likes to shoot. And for 3,500, you don't really need a ton from that line overall if that's what they're going to do. So a lot of qualifiers there, but I think the Isles do present some decent value. Anders Lee as a one-off, I think, is fine for 5,300. Defensively, you've got Nick Leddy at 3,500. I don't really like playing Leddy at all. Rarely ever get to him. But for 3,500, you can make the case just for the power play correlation. He's going to play with Barzal, Eberle, Anders Lee, and probably Josh Bailey. But Pulak's actually the guy that I like, and Osmo agrees. So it's good to see that. 3,700 there, A value, 8 points grade. Just a guy that shoots it way more than a guy like Leddy. He's going to see 20-plus minutes. Florida is on a back-to-back, whatever that means to you. So Pulak with Barzal and Eberle, and whoever is on that, or whoever is the other winger on that line is where I'm going to have the most exposure to for the Isles. Just overall, they're just underpriced, I think, for a team with a 3.2 implied total. Panthers side, Trocheck was Florida's best player last night. Barkov didn't assert himself last night. A lot of the big name players were stifled by Rangers. I don't know how you quantify that, but I don't know. I guess I'll just have to take your word for that, Kevin. Barkov hasn't asserted himself all season. Daily Faceoff has Beauvillier on the fourth line and second center. Power play. Yeah, Daily Faceoff's gone back and forth. I saw they were interacting with someone on Twitter back and forth about who Beauvillier was going to play with. Like, I read that thing about Trotz saying that Beauvillier is going to play with everyone. I mean, who knows? Like, maybe just stack the power play if you're worried about not having the correlation, or go with Barzal and Everly. That's probably the way I'll lean, unless we see Beauvillier on that top line. Why don't you like Bailey? Just curious. So he's priced fairly, like more fair nowadays, but I think it's more of a last year thing. Maybe a bias I need to get over and just let the numbers do the talking. I don't know. He was always priced up last year playing with Tavares, and he just would always get there with like one goal and one assist on one shot. I don't know. He's just like the most tilting guy to fade when the Islanders would go nuts. It seemed like he would always score 2 goals and be the piece you needed for that night. He's just he's not a high event player. He was just benefiting from playing with Tavares. Oh yes, Bailey. Whoa, yeah. Corsi and I have tilted the Josh Bailey tilt before quite a few times. Yeah, did Hoffman get bumped to the second line with Trocheck? Yeah, I did see that, so we should probably talk about that now. Tavares made him tons of money. You're very right there. All right, so we don't have it updated right now. Actually, let me check to see if this is updated. But it's going to be Mike Hoffman on the second line. So another reason to read our Morning Skate News and Notes column by Nolan Kelly. He had that. I saw that before I came on. And yes, it looks like Mike Hoffman will be on line 2 with Vincent Trocheck and Jonathan Huberdeau, where he belongs, in my opinion. So I went back to FanDuel pricing. Let me get on DraftKings. Hoffman, 4,800. So, he's 900 more than Mulligan, but you're still getting a pretty discounted line overall. Not super expensive. I think I still do prefer the top line for the Panthers, even with Barkov not asserting himself. I don't really know what to do with that. But, yeah, I really, really love the Barkov, Dadonov, Bukestad trio. I'm going to try to leave Bukestad on as much as possible. You see here, like, he's not going to pop into optimizers just because he's kind of the third piece, and people will play Dadonov and Barkov, but I actually don't think Bukestad's terrible. He does shoot it quite a bit, can create scoring chances, and he plays with 2 other talented guys, so not the worst for 5K. It's not like he's not a Josh Bailey, let's put it that way. Hoffman did show up a lot last night, and he looked good also. Yeah, it definitely makes me like Florida 2 a little bit more with Hoffman there. Hoffman's a guy that I love. Would have played him on the third line with like McCann for the power play 2 correlation. You could have gone McCann, Hoffman with Ekblad for power play 2 correlation. That would have been pretty fun and low owned. But now he's a pretty obvious value if he's going to slot into that top 6. So I don't play a ton of cash, but Hoffman would be a guy I would definitely consider and probably would play in cash. Maybe I should start playing a little bit more cash, but that's a discussion for another day. So like both the top 2 lines for Florida, but lean Florida 1 by a decent margin right now as far as full stacks go. Defenseman here, still got a big pricing discrepancy between Keith Yandel and Aaron Ekblad. I prefer Ekblad with the savings you get. He's 4K. He is shooting a little bit more. Yandel gets most of his price tag because of that power play 1 exposure, which is valuable for sure on a team like Florida. But I think I'd rather go with Ekblad for $4,000 and spend the $1,700 elsewhere. Any punts in this game? Hickey is 2,500, man, he blocks a ton of shots too, if I remember correctly. Don't know much about Thomas Hickey. Let's see if I can look this up. Played 19 minutes in each of his last 3 games. Yeah, maybe he doesn't block as many shots as I thought. But $2,500 defenseman. And I don't know, maybe he gets in front of the puck a couple times. So, I don't know. He's just there, $2,500. Thought maybe we could play him more. But not going to be a guy that my lineups include very often. So it's going to be Pulock over Leddy, Ekblad over Yandel with the savings. Now, if you've got Barkov and Dadonov and you have the money to pay up for Yandel, go with Yandel. Go with the correlation always. But talking one-offs, I think I prefer the cheaper guys. Spend the money on some other forwards. Goalies here, man, cheap again. What about Boychuk? Someone says in chat. Joshua. Boychuk, 3,200. He's on the third pairing. That's the only issue I have with him. He is listed on the second power play. I guess that's fine, but not a guy that I'm going to be playing very often. So let's see. I don't even know if I did have Boychuk in my original crunch. So he's not going to be a guy that comes up for me very often. I'm probably making like 50 lineups tonight. So maybe a couple Boychuk, but not a guy I'll be exposed to very often. The annual Pulock 2-goal, 2-assist game. Yeah, I think he's got a shot for that, honestly. I mean, everyone's got a shot at that, but high event game, team on a back-to-back that already plays decently high-paced, and Pulock is just going to grip it and rip it, so I definitely agree with the A value call here on Osmo's rankings. Yeah, goalies, I don't have anything super special to talk about. Just make sure it is Reimer going for the Panthers. It was Hutchinson last night, so I don't know why it wouldn't be Reimer, but make sure you should know this by 6:30 Eastern, about a half hour before this game starts. Tampa Bay and Colorado, we have Andrei Vasilevsky going up against Semyon Varlamov. He's the one that I always get tripped up on. That MY always messes me up. But anyways, we've got Tampa Bay at a 3.3 implied total, Colorado at 3.2. Again, Vasilevsky versus Varlamov. We've got the one-line Colorado Avalanche taking on the two-line Tampa Bay Lightning. So this one kind of tough for me to get a read on, again, as far as line matching goes. But right now I have it as Colorado 1 versus Point and Stamkos. So it would be, like you see on the screen, this trio. Oops. How do I highlight on this? Can we highlight on this? Whatever. The top 3 versus the top 3 here. And if that's the case, I mean, it's fine to play either side of that. I think I prefer the Johnson, Kucherov, Palat line. I just like how that line sets up better. You know, you don't get as much power play 1 correlation, but man, I really like playing Nikita Kucherov for 6,700. That'd be a guy that would probably be in my cash lineup if I made one. Or if I was making one lineup tonight, Kucherov would almost certainly be in it. Even if McKinnon splits time against Point and the Johnson line, it's still a pretty favorable matchup. The Colorado 1 numbers are pretty poor defensively. 46.7% Corsi for percentage. Their offensive numbers aren't even great, but 26 scoring chances against per 60, and then most importantly, 13 high danger chances against per 60. And I think they've played over 100 minutes together so far this season. So we're getting into pretty noteworthy samples on some of these lines that have played together every single game. So it's really Colorado 1 for me. That's the line you obviously prefer. They're super expensive. McKinnon's coming up with me in a lot of 2-mans. And I hate not having Landeskog and Rantanen together with McKinnon. But if I'm running 3-3-2s, I'm not going to get a lot of full Colorado 1. So it's going to be like McKinnon with Rantanen and Tyson Barrie, or with Landeskog instead of Rantanen, that type of thing. Hoping I get the one that doesn't maybe get in on the goals and only has that lone assist or something like that. But that's how I'm going to play it. Probably not going to have a lot of Colorado 1 stacks out of my handful of lineups. And then I do prefer the Johnson, Kucherov, Palat line over Point, Stamkos, and Yanni Gord. But it's not a huge difference to me. This is a similar situation to Florida 1 and Florida 2. Or I'm just leaning a little bit towards the other line. The second line in this case. But I'd probably consider the Kucherov line the top line, but whatever. Other things to talk about in this game. I like Andrighetto as a value. I do agree with Osmo there. He's got him as an A value, 4K, a guy that does shoot it quite a bit. I would go like Kerfoot, Andrighetto if you're trying to get away from the Colorado 1 chalk. I really wonder if they are going to be chalk, because Colorado 1 at home last year was a thing. It caught on quite a bit, so I got burned by them quite a bit until I finally agreed that they were just the nut home team seemingly every time they took the ice last year in Colorado. Yeah, that's about it as far as forwards go here. Tyson Jost is 3,100, and he's on a top power play, so if you need some savings, if you want to do a full stack, I actually don't hate him just because he gets power play one time. Defenseman here, Victor Hedman comes up as a pretty decent value at 5,900, and that's really the extent of my Tampa Bay exposure as far as defensemen go. And then it's Tyson Barrie and Eric Johnson. Man, is Johnson not listed on the power play? Last time I saw, he was on the second unit, but looks like Sam Girard will take over there for 3,800. But even though Girard is 3,800, I really, really want the power play quarterback for the top unit, and that's going to be Tyson Barrie. So that's where I'll go for Colorado. Goalies here, Varlamov is 8,100, but I actually don't think that's an overprice. I'd be willing to pay that. He's going to see quite a few shots, I would imagine. And then Vasilevsky, I think, same thing. So not going to hear any hot takes from me as far as goalies go tonight. It is a 4-game slate, so almost everyone's in play if you're multi-entering. Even if I was single-entering, I'd probably just correlate my goalie if it worked out that way. Unless it's Marc-Andre Fleury. We'll get to him in a second. All right, last game of the night, we've got the Vancouver Canucks going up against the Vegas Golden Knights. Jacob Markstrom going for Vancouver, Marc-Andre Fleury going for the Golden Knights. Probably going to see some Vegas chalk here. I think we should. The Vegas top line has been dominant. They've sort of picked up where they left off. And then Vegas 2, that's the line that I'm going to have maybe the most exposure to tonight. Got Haula with Pacioretty. Those two have played together already this season. And then they're joined by one of my favorite guys, Alex Tuch, who is just under 5K on DraftKings. I love that trio. I mean, they're cheap. They are going to see the Vancouver depth lines. They probably won't hard match, but Carlson will see the majority of his time, I would guess, against Besser, or I would guess against Bo Horvat, because we don't know if Besser is going to be in just yet. Elias Pettersson was ruled out, and then Besser is a game-time decision. We've got Lipsick and Eriksson being centered by Horvat right now. Those were the lines at Canucks practice yesterday. Who knows if that sticks? I would have interest in a Vancouver line if it was, like if we got word that Besser was in with Horvat and Lipsick on that top line. I think that would be fine. But other than that, I mean, where are you going to go on this Vancouver team? Gaudette is someone that's coming up for me a little bit in like a two-man. If you want to go with a super, super cheap two-man on DraftKings, like Gaudette and Derek Pouliot, power play 2, hook up there. I mean, whatever. It's fine. They're the Canucks. But if Besser's not in here, probably going to have very, very minimal exposure to Vancouver 1. I mean, I just don't know what to do with them. Um, Louis Eriksson is 2,800. Man, I still don't think I can play him without Brock Besser next to him. So this game is really just going to be about Vegas. The top line, great, awesome play. No problem with them at all. But I think I will have more exposure to Holla Tuck and Pacioretty. Defenseman here, Edler. This is a great floor spot for Alex Edler just because he's probably going to get a bunch of block shots. He has a game, I think, with 7 or 8 block shots already this year. Marsham's going to get peppered here. Vegas at home should dominate possession. Edler should play a ton of minutes here. So he'd be the guy I go to. I will have him in like some one-offs. But yeah, he's really the only one, or Pouliot, like I mentioned, if you want to go to Gaudette with Pouliot. Nice 2-man hookup there for, what is that, 6,100 on DraftKings in total. So that'd be a thing, like if you're stacking Colorado 1 with Tyson Barrie or Winnipeg 1 or something like that. We can actually mess around with that in just a second once I'm done talking about Vegas defensemen here. Colin Miller's my preferred play for Vegas. The only issue is that he's not on the top power play. You prefer him on PP1. I mean, at least I would, but Shea Theodore is 3,200, and I believe he's going to be on the top power play. But let me confirm that. Let's see what Daily Faceoff has. Oh, they still have Brad Hunt listed on there. So maybe that's why we have Brad Hunt listed on there. And I really wonder if that's going to be the case. But anyways, I think you can play Theodore or Colin Miller. Hunt, you're just playing for power play 1 exposure, and who knows if he's even going to get that time. So I would veer away from playing Brad Hunt as much as I could and just go down to Theodore. He's going to get the even strength minutes as well. Can we Josh stack Vegas? Yeah, of course, just like Bot says. For people that don't know what a Josh stack is, Jason Kelly, is lat automatic at 3,100? No, not for me at least. A Josh stack is a 5 or 6 man stack. Usually get exposure to 2 lines, and you're basically just betting on a team to go nuts and put up 5, 6, 7 goals. That's named after our buddy Josh Harris. I think he took down a GPP back in the day. I think before I was serious about playing NHL DFS, but I think he took it down with both of the Chicago Blackhawks top lines. It's pretty wild stuff. I've used the Josh stack before at higher stakes. It's a good way to differentiate. So especially on a shorter slate like this, yeah, I would definitely consider the Vegas Josh stack. That would be quite fun if you could make that happen. And I'm sure you can with the pricing on that second line especially. Yeah, Fleury, 8,400. I mean, he's just not going to see the shot volume. Could he get a shutout? Yeah, he absolutely could here. He's got the best chance to get a shutout, but he's got the best chance to get a win, all that stuff. But he's just not going to see the shot volume, at least I don't think. So it's a really risky play at 8,400 because if someone else does put up a huge score, someone in one of these higher paced games, even if they give up a goal or two, you're going to be chasing heavily. If Marc-Andre Fleury is your goal, you're going to need that shutout out of him because, I don't know, like, does he see over 25 shots here? Because I think there's a real chance he could see, like, 20, 18 shots out of Vancouver, especially if there's no Brock Besser. So there's my caution on Marc-Andre Fleury. We'll have very limited exposure to him. If you can fit him in a cash game, sure, because he's probably going to get the win here. The second line is good for it, though, like Jake said, dollars-wise. Oh, is it? I haven't tried that yet. I haven't hand-built yet today, so maybe we should try that right now. Let's see if we can do the Vegas Josh stack. The way I like to do it is usually, so you probably want Pacioretty in there for power play 1. Let's put Hunt in there for now. but we can go down to Theodore if we need. And so you're basically playing 4 to 6 forwards on DraftKings, and you're basically just hoping that you catch a bunch of goals in this lineup, which is pretty likely looking at how it sets up. So we could put in our boy. You probably want to play the goalie from this game too if you're doing this. Now you got 4,900 left. Actually, let's take this goalie out. Let's do have to play. Oh, you do have to play Fleury? Okay. So this is the actual rules of the Josh stack here. I don't know what you want to do. Tyler Johnson. See, I think if I was doing this, I would actually go to, as much as it pains me, I don't think I would want to leave out Alex Tuck here, especially because I think he's going to be on the top power play again. I did see a beat writer say something about that. Actually, let's do this. Let's go full Vegas 2 with Carlson, Marchessault. We're leaving off Riley Smith. We've got Brad Hunt in there, or we can go down to Shea Theodore. Can we fit McKinnon? We can fit McKinnon, even with the most expensive goalie. Play 2D and then get a Matthews bullet. Who's 2,600? Anyone viable here? I don't want to play a player against the goalie, even though that did win a GPP last night, or got close to it. But that was a cash lineup, so pretty impressive stuff there. Who is this guy? 2,600 playing in a high event game. Let's put him in. Or Hickey, the guy I was talking about. So it can be done. 2.8 GPA. Oh yeah, that is another feature in the lineup builder. You can see what it spits out based on Osmo's rankings. So that's another nice feature. You can see how you're doing based on how Osmo would build his lineups. Yeah, Saul in a queue with that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that with the cash lineup, but that was man, just crushed everything. Not often you see that, but just a sick lineup. I think it put up like 70 plus, right? That was pretty nuts. So another way you could Josh stack. I don't know if I'd want to do this, but let's see if we can do it with Winnipeg. I think this would be my contrarian way to go if I'm Josh stacking, which is already a contrarian way to play. Maybe go with Ehlers, Connor. Probably want Morrissey in there. Now you gotta get really cheap. Not really, actually. Let's put in. Who's the guy? Oh yeah, Gaudette. He actually doesn't look terrible to me. Now we got a $4,100 defenseman. Oh man, we can put in Theodore or Colin Miller. That's pretty nice. Yeah, you're really getting all the best forwards from Winnipeg here. Oh, you can get Pulak? Yeah. That's a good call, Corsi. And Osmo likes Pulak as well. What else do you guys want to see on here? New York Islanders second. Which line do you consider the second line? Depends on which site you go to, but I would consider the Nelson, Lee, Bailey trio as the second line. But Barzal or Brock Nelson. Leafs PP stack? Now that's really contrarian. All right, we'll do Barzal after this, Jason Kelly. Remind me if I start to sign off here. We got a little bit of time, though. There is an NBA show coming up after this. I think there's 11 games, so if you guys are in the NBA, if you want to like mini max it or whatever, that's always a good tournament, except in NHL where the payout structure is horrendous. But in other sports, the sports that DK seems to care about, there are some better payout structures at the lower stakes. Oh yeah, PP stack. So we got to go Matthews, Tavares, Marner. Damn, Kadri is only 4K. That makes it work pretty well. Morgan Riley. All right, so we got 3 centers here. Okay, we'll do that, Kevin, in a second. Kevin and Jason. We'll do the Barzal line in a second. All right, so see, the only issue I have with this is that you're getting forwards from 3 different lines. I guess Winnipeg would be a good team to do it against. I don't know how they've been this year, but I know last year they committed a ton of penalties. So it would be a good team to do it against. And the Leafs, this is a stacked power play, so nothing that bad to say about it. Freddie. Oh, you want to put in Frederik Andersen for the correlation? All right. Tuck, Patches. Ooh, I like the way you think. All right. Pacioretty, Tuck. Ooh, can't do that. So close. Let's see. Maybe you could do Pacioretty price slides down to the second unit, right? So you probably go Pacioretty with Colin Miller. And then you've got 3,100 for a winger. Ooh, Louis Eriksson, gross. But he is playing with Horvat, so maybe not that gross if Besser's out. Didn't I say another guy was super cheap? Beauvillier's 35. Agreed, Mike V. I do agree. Don't fade a line just to fade a line. Just play it differently. Josh stack it. You can play chalk. I play chalk all the time. Just as long as you're making your lineups differently, there's no problem playing chalk. Yeah, that's a good point there, Mike V. No, you can't do Beauvillier. Oh, you could do Beauvillier if you go to Theodore. So if you go Theodore with Pacioretty, then you got room for Beauvillier if he is on that top unit or the top line. That's not terrible. All right, let's clear this. And you guys can export these. As you see by this button right here, it'll download it into the format of the CSV for DraftKings. So if you're MMEing, you want to make a few of them, just press export, and it'll be great. You'll have the format you need. What we're going to do, oh yeah, Barzal, Everlay, and Beauvillier. All right, so confirm that this is a line, or confirm that it is not a line in an hour and 45 minutes. We should have that information. But if this is a line, very cheap, as you see here, you can basically do whatever you want with it, just looking at the pricing. So you can fit Winnipeg 1 with Morrissey, with Hellebuck, and you got 5,400. You can fit, I don't know, you can fit Matthews with Tavares and Marner. It's just, this line makes so much work. The question is it going to be a thing? So I wonder if you could do, let's do a Florida Josh stack after this. So you can do Barkov, Dadonov, Bukestad, and then play whoever you want. Yandel. There's no Brent Burns on this slate. Closest probably we got is Hedman. And then we still got 8,200 left. All right, let's try Barkov, Dadonov. Just go full PP1 here, maybe. Trocheck, Huberdeau. Yandel. Put in Reimer. 4K left. Maybe go Kerfoot and Sven Andrighetto. I like Sven. I think he's a pretty decent play for 4K. Take your pick there. Oh, no, not take your pick. Probably going to go Theodore or Brad Hunt, but you get the idea. Hoffman should be there. Just one like, guys. Come on, help brother out. I don't know who that is on the Osmo.com account, but yeah, you can give me a like if you want. Give us a like. It'll help keep our stuff free. Someone did ask about that. When is Osmo going premium for NHL subs only? That's not for me to say. I don't really know how that works. I just do shows when they tell me to do shows and get my paycheck. So we do have premium content, like premium tools. I know that we put a lot of stock in those, and I work hard on the projections. Osmo works obviously very hard on his projections, his rankings. The Slack chat is probably one of the best tools. A lot of Sharp subscribers in there. Vots is in there. I'm in there. Yeah, I did see that, Corsi. Homer Cleese is in there. Super valuable to be in that Slack chat. Chris Wassel. So there's a lot of useful information. Your boy Lipsick might be on line 1 if Besser is out. So what I was thinking is shows will be free all the time, most likely, a la RG. I can't comment on that. I honestly don't know. So I'm probably the wrong guy to ask. But yeah, Slack and projections plus insight equals premium. That's how we have it right now. I think that it's going to be Lipsick with Besser and Horvat. Wouldn't you think that Eriksson would slot down? Because right now, like if you check on Daily Faceoff, it is, it's Eriksson with Horvat, and we don't even have Lipsick on here, but it would be Lipsick, who is 2,500. He's free. So if he's in with Besser and Horvat, then I would like Vancouver 1, just because I think that's a solid line, not a good defensive line. Lipsick is not a good defensive player, but he does shoot, and he was 2,500. So you cash game players, keep an eye on that if you need a punt winger. Can't really do better than $2,500 skating with Besser and Horvat on a 4-game slate. So, and Lipsick's not a plug either. He's got some offensive talent. What else should we talk about here? You guys are probably done with me, huh? We actually got a decent crowd for today for only a 4-game slate. No Homer Cleese. I know he's the big draw. So thanks for coming in and supporting me. Homer Cleese will probably be on the show Tuesday, Thursday. Tomorrow it's just going to be me again. Yeah, it's just going to be me tomorrow. Yeah, Boom hasn't been around lately. He's popped in a couple times, of course. Yeah, I think when you haven't been here. Friday, I think we have a really short slate on Friday, if I remember correctly. I know next week the slates are just awful. So if you play NBA, don't even bother on Monday, Wednesday, Friday with NHL, because unless you want to play Showdown, which is what I'm probably going to do, but I'm a degenerate. Let's see. Tomorrow we have... I'm sorry. Friday we have 4 games. Tomorrow is 10. That is Thursday. Got my days all mixed up. What do we have on Saturday? Ooh, we got a morning slate on Saturday. If DK is going to sack up and make some real contests this week. Probably not, with college football going on and just their general hate towards NHL. Eakin's price? Yeah, Eakin doesn't really do much for me at all. Yeah, he's probably a better real life player than DFS player. Doesn't really shoot, doesn't really play on a good line. Doesn't play on a line that gets a lot of minutes. I guess he's listed on the power play. He may get pushed off of there because of Tuck being back. I guess I don't know that for sure. Maybe he will play there. I don't know. But Eakin's not a guy that I'm targeting at all tonight. Probably will have 0 Cody Eakin. Nilsson on the road tonight, GPP play. Well, it is Markstrom starting, so don't play Nilsson. Yeah, don't play Anders Nilsson. And no, I don't really like Markstrom at all. If you're playing him, like if I was playing Markstrom, it would be, okay, Besser's in, So I'd go like Besser Horvat and whoever is on their line with Edler or something. And if I'm also stacking Colorado 1 and I need a cheap goalie and Markstrom fits, that's the scenario I'd want to play Markstrom in. He's going to get absolutely peppered. He's going to see a ton of shots. I don't know if he's capable of a huge performance, but it's hockey. And he's a $6,900 goalie. So there's your case to play Markstrom, but not a rousing endorsement at all. Kucherov line or Winnipeg 1 we're getting from the Slack chat. That's Winnipeg 1 for me. Yeah, it's so hard to fade Scheifele, Wheeler, and Line on that line. I don't care what the numbers say in the short sample from a couple years ago. It's just that's too good of a trio. I just can't fade them. Like if I was building a solo lineup tonight, it would be something like this. It would be those three. I would fade Toronto because that's what my numbers are telling me to do. Sorry, Corsi. Toronto not going to be heavily owned for me tonight. I'd probably have, something like this. Oof. Guess I can't fit that, can I? No, it would probably be Tuck and Pacioretty for sure. And then, let's see, can you punt there? Can you go with McKinnon? Can you get down to, yeah. So you get the idea. That's how I build lineups when I go with 1. Been going with MME quite a bit this year, but I stay away from 4-3-1 as much as possible on smaller slates like this. So tomorrow, 10-gamer, probably going to run out a bunch of 4-3-1s, just see what fits. But yeah, 3-3-2 for the most part, or like 5-2-1 or something like that. Josh stack, whatever. Just get away from 4-3-1 if you are entering limited lineups in a large field GPP. Because there are guys that do 4-3-1 and they're really awesome at it. And it's really tough to beat them when full lines go off at even strength. So, show tomorrow, same time, just myself. Promo code Hit the Ice, free 7-day trial, any Osmo.com NHL premium subscription that does not include Fantasy Cruncher. You get my projections, you get Osmo's rankings, you get Slack chat if you sign up for the month or the year. The lineup builder you can try out, really useful here. I like the visual quite a bit, as you can see. But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for joining. And good luck tonight. Don't spend all your money on a 4-game slate. And we'll see you back tomorrow.